People ask us, but like, what is a day in the life like running a boutique hosting business? So we're talking 50 or less properties. Well, today's your lucky day because I'm going to bear all and tell you everything we do on a day-to-day basis inside our co-hosting business. Okay, so the way we run it is that we have remote GSAs. That's a guest service agent. Now, our guest service agents not only message guests via our property management software, but they also are overlooking our company email account. Our GSA starts at 9 a.m. There is a GSA that is doing the night shift. So at 9 a.m., the night shift GSA is passing off the baton to the morning GSA. After 9 a.m., the guest service agent who's on during the day is going to build out the schedule for the turnover team. The turnover team comprises of a cleaner, cleaners, and an inspector. Our GSA is going to look at the schedule, who's departing at what time, who's arriving at what time, and what's the best route for the cleaning team and our inspectors to do that day. All right, so it's 9:30 a.m. Our daytime GSA figured out what's going to happen when, and she gets on our chosen communication app, which is Voxer. We like Voxer because you can just like walkie-talkie things. These days, it's not common for someone just to be sitting in an office, right? Especially our cleaners or inspectors. There are boots in the ground. So if they need something or want to report something or communicate something, it's just easier to say it. Also, when you get that Voxer, there's a very specific Voxer noise. You know it has to deal with business, right? It's very separate from a noise you hear for, your personal life, so like a normal text message, etc. Okay, so our checkouts are at 10 a.m. Boots are on the ground. The cleaners are waiting to hop into a home, whatever first home they should start servicing, as are our inspectors. 10 a.m., it is go time. Now, there is a caveat to this. Our big turnover days are Fridays because we have a lot of people who stayed during the week and they're checking out, and people who are coming for the weekend and they're checking in. Your day might be different depending on where you're at in the world and what your guest cadence is. But for us, Fridays and Sundays are like D-Day, right? So we will do all the things I just mentioned in the past minute or so on Thursday night so that we don't even have to figure everything at 9:30 a.m. Because if a guest tells us, hey, I'm going to leave at 7 a.m. on Friday, you better believe we're going to capture that extra time to turn over that unit since the guest is leaving early. Because check-in's at 4, so we're from 10 to 4. So you can see there's a lot of logistics here, and we have to make sure all the puzzle pieces are fitting together so that we can not only clean the places, but also be on top of our preventative maintenance and make sure all the inspections happen without a hitch. But then what happens from 10 until check-in at 4? Well, it just depends. It depends how the guest leaves the space. It depends on what we're focusing on that week. It depends on what preventative maintenance tasks we may have scheduled. It just a lot depends, but thank goodness for Voxer. Our team can stay in constant communication with each other while also focusing on their task at hand. So if Mitzi, the inspector that day, isn't meeting like a event cleaning technician or an exterminator at a property, they may be organizing our supply closets or taking supply closet audits or counting linens and sheets or doing all the various things that they do to help us stay organized and on top of making sure that the cleaning team has everything they need to execute a turnover as efficiently as possible. All right, so it's 3 o'clock. We're getting real close to check-in time. If a guest tells us they're showing up at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's great information because we can prioritize guests who maybe haven't communicated their arrival time or put more of an effort on guests that are arriving at 4. So again, really seeing how you can, without bothering your guests too much, ask them for their arrival and departure times, especially if you're a boutique and you have to be really efficient with your team. It's good to know those things. But let's say it's 3 o'clock, arrivals are about to happen. Our inspectors are writing handwritten cards that have our logo on it and a QR code for them to book direct, but also a personalized message. And so when our guest books, they may tell us why they're coming into town, or we may ask them why they're coming into town. And we will curate a card that lets them know that we know why you're coming and we're so glad that you chose to stay with us for whatever event that is. And it really surprises and delights our guests and we become more memorable. We're not just this one-off stay. So the inspectors are doing that. They may also, depending on why someone's coming, grab some sort of amenity or gift to leave the guest. We don't do that with every stay, but we do that for certain stays. It just really helps to personalize that check-in experience for the guest. But our inspectors, part of their inspection checklist is no matter what time the guest is arriving, we turn on lights within the property so that if something happens with they were supposed to check in at 4, they don't come until 9, 10 o'clock at night, the lights on the property are really guiding them to a safe check-in and they can know what to expect when they're walking in. They also just notify the GSA, like breezeway, they'll finish their breezeway task. They also communicate with the GSA that the home is ready for the guest to arrive. In our team at 5 o'clock, the daytime GSA passes the baton off to our evening GSA, and this gives them a break from all the dings and dongs that can happen from all the OTAs, the email inbox, the cleaning team, the inspectors. Like the GSA is really they're like the glue of the entire team. And it's important for me, I've learned early on that if you try to subject someone, because I was that someone at first, to constant dings and dongs, it will eventually drive you nuts. So it was very important to me that we had a baton handoff between day and night GSA, because in our world, especially in today's short-term rental experience, guests do expect you to respond up until a certain point at night. So I want to make sure that someone can be available and on their phone during those evening hours, especially if guests are checking in at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. They have a tricky time finding the location, what have you. So we've got a new GSA in the evening, but our inspectors are actually still on duty. If they forgot something in their inspection, which rarely happens in our team truly because we have Breezeway guiding us, or if a guest needs assistance or I'll never forget the one day where somehow the doorknob got stuck and it wouldn't turn, like it wouldn't let the guest into the home. So to the rescue is our inspector because they are our boots on the ground. So the GSA agent fields that request or that need from our guest, contacts the inspector. If the inspector can't handle something because it's beyond their skill level in terms of handiness, we can also reach out to our go-tos when it comes to those people. So anyway, the inspector is on duty all day, but they're not fielding the dings and dongs. So truly, as long as they have their phone nearby and they're not going out and having a glass of wine with friends and they're able to drive to a property, they can really live their life during the evening. But they're responsible for attending to any needs that our guests may have after check-in.
It opened and then it closed. So like Sarah's in there, but she's typing on her computer and she's not paying attention.
Are you in, ma'am? Are you in? Oh, no.
I am now. Colleen had let us in, and Kirk's like, she's typing. I could hear her typing on box review. I'm like, my code doesn't work. And then Colleen's like letting us in.
I turned off the dings and dongs.
I know, but